I gotta love it. You know it's time. It's back into earnings season, baby. It's my favorite season of the year that happens 4 times a year. So that doesn't make sense. Anyways, this week, as we get back into the actual swing of things, it's really highlighted by a lot of financials. So that's really a good indicator of how things are doing in general in terms of the economy. So it's definitely a big week to look at. And you'll notice a lot of these names here. I'll go and talk about a few specific ones to look at, um, what to be looking at, and what might be a good option to look at for picking up a stock maybe. So Tuesday we got a lot. This whole week's full of just some bangers, right? Just some bangers of companies. These are some good earnings coming out, and I'd love to see how things go. We're starting off hot on Tuesday before open. You get JP Morgan, okay? Love it. Screw you, United Healthcare. Citi, right? Love it. Johnson & Johnson, big company, right? Goldman, eat my sack, okay? Quality company. Wells Fargo, Afria, you love drugs? I don't. Charles Schwab, obviously Charles Schwab is something to look at. You won't see necessarily an impact yet based off of their reduction of commissions down to zero, so you're not going to see an impact there. So it should be a relatively normal earnings for Charles Schwab. I'd pay attention to next earnings to see an actual impact on that, though. So keep an eye on that. BlackRock Investments, gotta love it. So that's just highlighting the before open. A lot of big companies doing before opens, and that, frankly, that's probably going to set in motion how this entire week's going to go in terms of the market. What these kind of companies are doing on Tuesday, that has a big impact on the total market. These are big companies. You think of Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, Citi, JP Morgan. If they have bad earnings, it might be a little bit rough for at least the next following days, unless something else decides to cancel that out. But we'll see. After close on Tuesday, United, gotta love it. Sleep Number, you're right. I love Sleep Number. I don't own a Sleep Number, but it's something I would love to own because I sleep on a brick pretty much right now. So definitely something to look at. I haven't been following Sleep Number as a company actually since it's been publicly traded, so I'm not entirely sure, but it is something I'm going to look at to see how they're doing. I know it's a growing business, and it's certainly something to look at. You got Interactive Brokers on there, another place that just went to the $0 commission fees. Interactive Brokers, always a cool little deal. Wednesday, we have some heat coming Wednesday. That's right. Abbott Laboratory. I didn't mean to skip over Bank of America, but still. Abbott Laboratory, more drugs, baby. More drugs. I think they're going to have a good quarter, Abbott is. From what I've been doing research-wise, Abbott should be looking to be poised. They've had a couple different drugs pass approval states, different tests. It'll be interesting to see, but I do think it'll be okay for Abbott. We have seen a decrease in prescription drug price, obviously. That is something to consider as well, so that could be a cause for declining revenue, but I don't think it's going to be as significant of an impact as it might be in the future, but at the time, I think it'll be okay for them. But obviously, Bank of America there. Very good dividend-paying company. Bank of America's excellent stock to own if you don't have it. We got Ally there, obviously. First Horizon, PNC, U.S. Bank Corp. BNY Mellon, and Commerce Bank shares. Just think about this. There's so many financials reporting this week. It is going to be crazy. This is going to have so much impact on where things are in terms of people's sentiment on the economy. If things aren't going well for these big banks, honestly, there's probably going to be a lot of people pulling out of stock. And I hate to say that, but there's a good chance they do. So we're going to hope for positives. And I think we will have positives, I think it's certainly possible. After close, we have more heat. Can you believe it? Netflix. That's right. Netflix reporting after close. This is the company out of all of these right here that you need to look at. Why do I say that? So I believe Netflix is poised for I hate to say it's going to be failed earnings, but I think it's going to be rough for them again. They've had a couple earnings in a row now, but now with both the competition of Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, I mean, it's going to be rough for Netflix, and they were already missing subscriber goals pretty significantly, at least in the United States. It's something to absolutely look at. I think Netflix is going to miss subscriber goals that they set. And they could beat, obviously, but I think there's the potential that this stock gets hammered. Potential. And if it's a company you're interested in buying, I would never, but you might want to look for this after close Wednesday. You want to see what this earnings looks like. I don't think it'll be a good quarter for Netflix. That's my opinion on it. I think they're still working on a lot of things, trying to beat competition, and I don't think it's going to end up too well for them. So other than that, who else do we want to look at for after close? I mean, nothing super significant that I would necessarily point out as interesting. A couple of those just normal companies I don't know that much about. I don't know that much about Limelight, Steel Dynamics. I'm not too familiar with the companies. So we're going to go into Thursday. Thursday, we got some more heat Thursday. There's heat all over this week. I mean, that's fire noise right here. This week's got hot earnings. Starting with before open Thursday. That's right, Philip Morris. Tobacco. You like buying tobacco? I don't. Quit smoking, people. Don't buy e-cigs either. That's my advice to you. So Philip Morris, obviously, people have been stopping smoking pretty regularly, and you're going to see a decrease in revenue through Philip Morris in that aspect. So what happens to the stock price, I don't necessarily know, but I know there's a continuous decrease in smoking percentage in terms of people, so I think Philip Morris could get hit pretty heavily. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, huge Morgan Stanley reporting before open, as well as KeyBank. Again, two big financial institutions. We'll see how that goes. Honeywell, you'll know them for their lights usually. Honeywell light products. Union Pacific, Textron, BB&T. Not sure about BB&T actually. Not a company I'm familiar with, but that before open Thursday, you're going to be looking at Morgan Stanley and KeyBank for the most part, but Philip Morris is an interesting company to look at because I don't think it's necessarily something I would get interested in. I would avoid Philip Morris, stay away from stocks like that. Anything smoking related, it just doesn't make sense to me. I would never buy a company that's business is focused on, cancer-giving products. I would never want to own part of that company. Everything gives cancer, I should say that, but something like cigarettes, I would never be part owner of a, cigarette provider. Just not really that. After close, Thursday, hey, look at that, WD-40. WD-40, we all use it, right? I'm not entirely sure. I haven't done a lot of research into the WD-40 brand, but as far as what suite of products, I know them just for the WD-40, and obviously they're not publicly traded just off that. They do have a full suite of products, and I'm not entirely sure what all that entails, but it's an interesting company to look at as far as like consumer staples is concerned. But what we really care about is going to be E-Trade. We want to look at E-Trade, see how that's going. We got People's United and Independent Bank. I mean, there's a couple more financials coming here Thursday after close. Definitely something to look at. Friday, guess what? Your heaters. The heaters coming Friday. Everyone knows, everyone's favorite company listed here, Schlumberg. I'm just kidding. What the heck is Schlumberger? Sounds gross, and I don't want to say it ever again. But Friday before open, that's right, there's no after close on Fridays. That's already true. Friday before open, Coca-Cola. That's right. I definitely have plenty of shares in Coca-Cola. They're going to be reporting earnings, and I think there's a big spotlight on them. They're really, right now, focusing on that growth, which is weird. It's Coca-Cola. They haven't been known as a growth company, but Right now, they're really trying to transition into more of that organic growth on organic products, that is. And they've been doing a good job in previous quarters. So I think they're going to keep that trend up, and people are going to be looking at that organic growth number, and that's how you'll see a change in stock price there. I don't know if they'll necessarily be too concerned in terms of overall growth. A lot of people are really just tracking that organic growth number right now. Obviously, people think, and understandably, that's part of the way of the future, that transition of business model. It's entirely something to look at, and I think it should be very important to look at Friday before open. You know what? I'm off work Friday. I want to make sure I'm waking up early and keeping an eye on that. Huge, other than that, American Express, and I would say look at Citizens Bank and Synchrony Financial as well. Synchrony, another credit card company. So any one of these financial institutions, you gotta look at. I think there's gonna be a very interesting week, and I think it's gonna have a lot of say on this weekly recap at the end of the week, right? If we have a bad Tuesday, I think we might be set for a pretty rough week. So we're gonna hope we get some beats from J.P. Morgan, Citi, and you want to know what? Johnson & Johnson, if they beat, that's going to be pretty good for consumer staples. So let's go ahead and have these companies beat early. Goldman can eat my ball sack. Can go ahead and do Tuesday. That was too offensive. I'm sorry. They can go ahead and report some good earnings Tuesday if they wanted, though, and just have a good week. That's what I'm hoping for here. So let's keep an eye out. Nothing going on today, Monday. So keep an eye out tomorrow. Any positions you have in this, let me know if you want to get any more insights on any of these, or if you want to give me some information on some of these that I don't know about. Go ahead, let me know. Something to look at. It's always good to have discussions. So if there's a company you think I need to look at, let me know. I gave you some companies I think you should look at. So hope you enjoy.